You know what? I started reading a book lately, which is weird for me because outside of the Bible, I don't read. Never. It's a book my parents got me and my brother for Christmas. It's called Not a Fan. And I began to read it, and it's really ministering to my life. And me and my brother have been talking back and forth about it, almost like what we think about what's going on in the book, blah, blah, blah. And if I can tell you, in my life, I don't think me and my brother have ever done that, honestly. I don't think we've took some situation as much as a book or as in even Christianity and talked in depth about it. We just haven't. We may talk in depth about sports or something like that, but a book about Christianity and about being a follower of Jesus, I don't think we've ever really talked about it. And it's been ministering to me. And what it's pretty much about is he's challenging you. Are you a fan or are you a follower of Jesus? But he goes on to say in there, and what I want, and I think it can go along with this message. He talks about how we as Christians, we like to compare ourselves to other Christians, right? But what he says is, when we compare ourselves to other Christians, we always compare ourselves to anemic Christians. Christians that are a little bit maybe worse off than we are. And I started thinking about it, and he references it would be like me as a husband comparing myself to another husband who doesn't care about his wife. Of course, I'm going to grab someone who's probably a little bit worse of a husband than I am to compare myself to. But that's how we do it as Christians. We pull someone and we say, you know what, I'm better than that person because I don't do what they're doing right now. When realistically in the Bible, it says that a sin is a sin is a sin. Every sin is equal, no matter what. If someone struggles with this and you struggle with it, you're the same. Because in the Bible, Jesus says that there's only two kind of people in this world, and that's evil people and me. He puts himself above everyone else and says, all of y'all are here, and I'm here. But how many of us act like there are different levels of Christians, and there are different levels of human beings, but there's not. Jesus put it plain and simple and said, no, y'all are all sinners. Y'all all sin. Everybody sins. But then there's me. Some people would say that's a little cocky and that's a little arrogant, but he deserves it. Because he's everything. He should be everything in your life. He should be what you strive to be like. But instead of striving to be like Christ, we strive to be better than someone else who's worse than we are. Come on, if you didn't get that, we strive to be better than a Christian that might struggle a little bit more than us, but we don't strive to be just like Jesus. Because you know what Christian means? Christian means to be Christ-like. So many people in the world today will say that they're followers of Jesus, but to say that you're Christ-like, I beg to differ. There are any in the world that could say I'm like that. But how many people do you go up to on a daily basis? You say, hey man, are you a Christian? They say, yeah, I'm a Christian. Are you really? Because being a Christian is being just like Christ was. You're not going to be perfect because nobody can be, but striving to be better than anyone else and being like him. We settle to be better than someone that's maybe a little better than us. We don't settle to be the best that we can be. We don't strive for that. But that's what Christianity is about. It's about striving to be as much like Christ as you can be. See, we put Christianity on this little stool over here and said, it's fine. It's not being Christ-like. It's being better than my neighbor is. Being better than the person who sits the row behind me, coming more than they come to church, giving more than they give, worshiping better than they worship. When even in realistically, that's not the best you can give. God said, give the best that you have. The best at everything inside of you. I remember when we used to be in 2-a-days doing drills and doing things, I could hear my dad in my ear saying, give everything you have right now, because it will pay off one day. And I never got that. Even in games, even in tough situations, I never got how hard I worked in 2 days, because I never got that tired in a game. But I'm going to be honest with you, I've gotten that tired in life, where I can still hear my dad in my ear saying, don't give up. Keep pushing. Because it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it. I promise. You're going to come to a day where it is worth every single little situation you struggled with. Every situation that you had to push out of the way and say, I'm struggling right now, but God said it's worth it. Because there's a purpose for everybody. And your purpose isn't to be better than someone else on this earth. It's to be the best you can be. Even if the best you can be is sitting on the pew and listening and taking it in, even if that's the best you can be. Be the best that you can be. Not everybody's a missionary. Not everybody's a pastor. Not everybody's a worship leader. Not everybody's a youth pastor's wife. Not everybody's that. But everybody has their own thing inside of them that God said, push for it. Go get it. When you're not a go-getter, you settle for second best. God said, don't settle today. Go get what's yours. Be selfish. Because Jesus was every bit as selfish. His disciples tried to stop him. They said, God, don't go through with this. He said, I have to. He said, I have to go get it because it's my destiny and it's what I have to do right now. Be selfish. Some people they try to say God was such a wimpy God. He wasn't like that. He wasn't cocky. Jesus was cocky. For him to say everyone else is worse than me, that's a cocky mentality. But you got to have that to be the best you can be. You have got to have that mentality to get to where God really has you to be. And when you're struggling with stuff, don't quit. Because what quitting gets you is a life of quitting. When you quit once, you keep doing it. And you keep doing it. And you keep doing it. It's a hard thing to stop. Giving up is tough. That's why no matter how hard my marriage gets, I still hear my dad's voice in my ear saying, don't give up. No matter how bad money gets, I hear my dad's voice in my ear saying, don't give up. See, so many people don't have that voice in their ear. And I'm sorry if you don't. But hear it right now. Don't give up. Because it's worth it. He's worth everything. Every second of your time. But we think that he only deserves a couple minutes of our time during the day. He hung on that tree for me and you. And while he was hanging on that tree, I'm retarded. And while he was hanging on that tree, I believe going through his mind, he said, you're worth it. He said, you're worth it. You're worth me going through this. But we won't take a second out of our day to say, Jesus, you're worth it. When he hung on a cross for us to say, y'all are worth it. Look at all the stripes. Look at every cut I have. The blood running down my face. Me hanging here in agony. And all I can imagine him thinking is, it's worth it all. Everything I just went through is worth it. It's worth it because one day Mike Jr. is going to be struggling with something and I'm going to have to go put my hand on him and say, it's okay. You're worth it. You're worth it. He said, you're worth it. Are you willing to say he's worth it? Are you willing to say he's worth everything? No matter what, if a guy came and took my house tomorrow, took everything away from me, is God still worth it to you? To still give him a little praise and a little glory and some honor. That's when you look inside yourself and you ask yourself, am I a fan or am I a follower? because fans just sit back and cheer. But when they leave, they go home. They don't go with them. They go back to their house. They go back to their comfort. They go back to where it's safe. And when a team's struggling a little bit, how many times do you hear fans say, I'm going to go find someone else now because my team's... How many years has it been since the Cowboys have won a Super Bowl? Come on. How many Cowboys fans hate on Tony Romo all the time because... And so many people don't. But that's the difference in being a fan and being a follower of Christ, because fans can know a whole lot about Christ, but at the end, when it gets tough, they're going to go back to where it's comfortable. They're not going to keep pushing and keep pursuing Christ and keep trying to find out more about Him, because every day you can find something else out. See, it doesn't matter if you've read the Bible 10 times or 20 times or 30 times. I promise you, every day you're going to find something else out about God. Every day is it. Paul said, I die daily to Christ. He figured new things out daily about Jesus. Himself died to Christ daily. And I know the old Pentecostal, I die daily, means you need to repent every day to God, all that stuff. But here I'm saying he found new stuff out daily about Christ because he was pursuing God. He said, I want to find out more today and more tomorrow and more the next day and more the next day. When you're interested in something, you keep going until you get to the end. But God said, there's no end to my book. There's a still tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. I guarantee you, Courtney was mad the other night. We saw Safe Haven, and she was mad that the end was there because you know what? You're left. What happens next? What happens? Are they going to make a sequel? Are they not going to make a sequel? Is there going to be another one? But God doesn't leave us with those questions. He said, keep going. You're going to find something else out. Then when you think it's all over, keep going. You're going to find something else out. Don't give up. Keep pushing. If there's something you could get in your head this morning is don't quit. Keep pushing forward. Keep moving forward, because he is worth every second of every day, of every year. He's worth it.